along to the subject of one of the subjects of the day. We are sitting here, and one of the reasons Mark Zell is here with us in studio, a moment that I usually love, because surrounded by family members of mass shooting victims, U.S. President Barack Obama gave an emotional address yesterday in which he announced his plans to tighten gun rules, urged Americans to vote for candidates who do more to prevent gun violence.
He even cried.
I'm going to say that in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Wiping back tears as he remembered the child victims and at times raising his voice to shout, Obama said he would use his executive powers to bypass Congress in an effort to require more gun sellers to get licensed and more gun buyers to undergo background check. And with elections in the United States less than a year away, we know this is a hotly debated issue in any day. Obama also blasted Republicans for opposing such measures, called on Americans to punish them at the polls. While Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton said she would take on the fight. To quote her, House Speaker Paul Ryan vowed to challenge his move in the court, predicted the future Republican president would reverse the order. With me in studio, as you might have guessed, is co-chair of the Republicans abroad in Israel, President of the Republicans abroad in Israel, Mr. Mark Zell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the following report.
It is me.
It is you.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the following report. Break it down from there.
The president making headlines for more than his controversial move, but his tears as well.
And from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun. Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad.
Those children, the victims of Sandy Hook. And behind the president today, families of victims from countless shooting rampages. He remembers them all, and the daily carnage as well.
And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
When the tear was coming down his face, and what did you think when you saw that?
I thought that was authentic. I think he's met his fair share of survivors like us.
But his tears drawing fire too. Today, Mr. Obama taking executive action on his own, narrowing the loophole that allows weapons to be bought without a background check at gun shows and online, hiring more agents to conduct background checks, and asking Congress for $500 million to provide better access to mental health services. But opponents were equally determined. The National Rifle Association issued a statement saying the proposals would not have prevented any of the horrific events he mentioned. And GOP presidential candidates were denouncing the president's actions.
President Obama's executive actions limiting gun rights will restrict our law-abiding citizens.
These orders today, I believe, are not worth the paper they are written on.
If there's an issue related to federal gun laws, then you ought to go to Congress and try to forge consensus to make it happen. He doesn't have this power.
With me in studio, Mark Zell, President of Republicans in Israel and abroad. Okay. Mark, I know that we're gonna have an argument about this, I am sure. But a lot of reactions have already come out, many calling him the president using this as a political move. He could actually pass certain laws. Why do you think he shouldn't?
Well, the president, first of all, Yael, doesn't pass laws, and this is
not pass laws, actually push.
Excuse me.
Okay.
No, wait a minute.
It's
significant that you said that because he thinks he can, and this is to me the significance of his remarks yesterday. Let's assume for the moment that the whole idea of enhanced background checks and increased federal government gun control measures will actually do something to reduce mass shootings in the United States. That's a thesis I don't think is factually correct. But let's assume that's correct. Okay, I'll go with you on that. What he told the American people yesterday was that having failed to convince the representatives of the people in Congress, not once, but twice in the last couple of years, to pass legislation to do what he wants to do, he is now prepared to throw the Constitution to the wind, excuse me, Yael, and by executive order, fiat, and like a king would do, like a benevolent despot, he decides that he is going to go around the Constitution of the United States and fix this. Now, I was sitting yesterday watching this speech with a couple young Israelis who were really in favor, like you, Yael, about increased gun control. But after that speech, they were outraged. And you know why? Because he threw the law to the wind. He threw the Constitution to the wind and decided because he couldn't get his way with Congress, he was going to do it by executive order.
Mark, hold on one second. Mark,
He said it himself. Look, this is a guy that yesterday lauded his own knowledge of constitutional law. He said he was a constitutional professor. He knows the Constitution. He was talking about the Second Amendment. And then he started talking about the First Amendment, which he completely got wrong. And then he says that he's going to fix this national evil, which he's concerned about. And a lot of Americans are concerned about.
Every president in history has used executive actions.
You can't.
He doesn't use them more than any other president.
Excuse me.
I can show you graphs.
Ami,
yeah.
This is not a statistical analysis.
Why not?
This is a qualitative one, Ami. You can't create criminal liability and criminal legislation in a situation where he knows, he admitted himself, he went to Congress to pass a law. He failed. He cannot do that by an executive
Mark, and
order.
I have a question. Mark, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, the Constitution, it's written laws.
Who the hell cares?
No, I'm not saying that. Mark, wait a second.
What the heck?
Mark, no? Okay.
It's only the Constitution.
No, I'm
it's
not saying the Constitution,
paper.
it's a piece of paper.
People
and
are dying in Newton, Connecticut, and in Aurora and San Bernardino. Therefore, we need to just kind of throw the Constitution aside.
No. I'm not saying throw the Constitution
sort of like
aside.
Donald Trump suggested with respect to Muslims. And now, in order to get
That's a brilliant point.
gun control that you on the left want
I'm
to
asking
see.
you. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You know what? I'll give an example as to we can argue about why he cried, the president of the United States,
No,
or why not.
That's
But you're going to have to let,
Okay.
because we're giving everybody a moment to ask a question or respond.
Go ahead.
20-some kids are in a school. A man walks in with a gun, butchers them.
Yeah.
Okay. A mass shooting described as more than 3 people dying from a gun happens daily in the United States. What do you think should be done?
Look, the first thing that needs to be done, in my view, is people need to get a better, culture of violence. I mean, the problem isn't the gun, and I'm not telling you, I'm not a big gun control enthusiast. Okay, I'm a Republican for reasons other than about gun control. I'll tell you that right now. And there are many gun owners in the United States who do favor increased background checks, okay? And would prefer to see this done, and would be happy to see this done where it should be done at the state and local level. But even if you are an anti-gun enthusiast like you are, Yael.
People are dying. Kids are dying.
Yes, but I'm telling you something. What's killing the people are not the guns; it's the people using them. What happened? Did the president mention at all what happened in France just last month?
But again, now you're doing this two different issues.
127 people, 130 people were mowed down in a country with the strictest gun controls in the world, and
an
that
issue
happened.
that will be hotly debated all throughout the upcoming elections. I want to thank you for being with us.
The news item is the lawlessness at the top of the U.S. government. That's the news item.
And we will agree to disagree. When we get